government mulling over making COVID-19 vaccination compulsory. Perkuko established to refresh capabilities of Malaysian GLICs. Hello and good evening. Thanks for joining us, and you're watching News at 10 with me, Muhammad Amin Carlos. Well, the government will consider making COVID-19 vaccine obligatory for everyone who is eligible for the shots. Well, Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said the matter is currently being reviewed and a decision will be made by next month.
Itu kita belum putus lagi. Kita nak kaji, nak teliti dan dapatkan sedikit kajian. Kalau ada kumpulan-kumpulan nak tahu latar belakang. Adakah sebahagian besar tu mereka tu ada penyakit, jadi dia takut nak ambil vaksin, ataupun kerana sengaja dia tak nak ambil vaksin kerana dia tak percaya. Yang dia katakan kumpulan anti vaksin atau vaxxers. Jadi bila nanti kita analisa tu, kalau peratusannya agak kecil sangat, jadi tidak membimbangkan. Tapi kalau dia besar, maka kita kena cari jalan sama ada nak kenakan sebagai mandatory dari bawah peruntukan undang-undang yang sedia ada.
Tan Sri Muhyiddin explained that the measures should be implemented to ensure that those who have yet to register for vaccine will receive their shots, thus enabling the country to achieve herd immunity by October. He said a decision will also be made on actions to be taken against anti-vaccine groups after taking into consideration the factors that caused them to refuse to register for vaccination. Speaking after a visit at a vaccination center in Terengganu, the Premier also announced that the vaccine supply for Terengganu will be increased to 590,000 doses this month. He said this is so that the state can achieve the target to vaccinate 80% of its population by October. The government has launched the Perkuko Pelaburan Rakyat Perkuko initiative, effectively starting the journey for 6 government-linked investment companies, or GLICs, to execute their refreshed mandate. Now, Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said Perkuko was established to reform the role and renew the capabilities of Malaysia's GLICs. It comprised of 20 main initiatives to achieve 5 key outcomes. The key outcomes included to sharpen clarity on the mandate of each GLIC and enhance focus on developmental and catalytical investments to spur new growth and enhance the socio-economic impact.
Perkuko fundamentally begins by recognizing the different mandates, funding structures, the risk profiles of various GLICs. In particular, GLICs will be subdivided into 2 categories, namely sovereign wealth funds, the SWFs, on one hand, encompassing entities like Khazanah National Berhad, KNB, Kumpulan Wang Persaraan diperbadankan, KUAP, Kumpulan Wang Amanah Negara, KWAN, and Minister of Finance Incorporated, MOF, Inc., and institutional investors like the Employees Provident Fund, the EPF, Permodalan Nasional Berhad PNB, Lembaga Tabung Haji LTH, and Lembaga Tabung Angkatan Tentera LTAT in the other, to better reflect the unique mandates, strategies, and asset liability management.
The Premier added that there will be a rebalancing of focus between financial returns and socio-economic outcomes, with the top priority on prudent capital investing in a more strategic approach into new growth areas. Furthermore, the GLIC under institutional investor category will retain their mandate of maximizing returns of contributors, be it future retirees or those who wish to pursue the Hajj, while playing a synergistic role in contributing to national development. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz said Perkuko will ultimately boost Malaysia's longer-term economic prospects and resilience, focusing on good governance that enables sustainable growth, strengthens socio-economic inclusivity and environmental sustainability. In his opening remark at the virtual launch of Perkuko today, Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul said the program will complement the government's medium to longer-term national agendas, including the National Fourth Industrial Revolution and the 12th Malaysia Plan. Elaborating further, Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul said that the Perkuko core focus is to optimize the strategic positioning and long-term direction of the nation's government-linked investment companies, GLICs, and government-linked companies, GLCs, to ensure they are future-proofed and their objectives are aligned to the broader national agenda. Perkuko is a medium-term, 3-year initiative as part of the last key pillar of the 6R economic recovery strategy, and that is resolve, resilience, restart, recovery, revitalize and reform, namely reform. He noted that together with the GLICs, these initiatives will be driven by the Finance Ministry, which will act as a program management office.
Clearer mandate for each GLICs, more investments in catalytic and developmental areas, increased private sector participation and streamlining of government's role. There are also specific initiatives of future-proofing our GLICs as well as strengthening the nation's social safeguards and fiscal resilience.
Developments made under the Cybersecurity Empowerment Program, or Kasih, are on the right track as part of the government's efforts to sustain Malaysia's cybersecurity ecosystem. Communications and Multimedia Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah said he was satisfied with the progress made under Kasih, which was launched on 23rd March, adding that the program was successfully undertaken. 35 types of services created by Cybersecurity Malaysia, CSM.
Kebanyakan rakyat Malaysia masih tidak mempunyai kesedaran yang mencukupi dari segi keselamatan cyber, dan saya sarankan supaya CSM kenal untuk kita buat banyak promosi dan marketing untuk meningkatkan kesedaran di kalangan rakyat tempatan, dari kalangan pembangun, pengguna dan juga pengilang dan semua pihaklah yang terlibat, terutamanya bagi orang ramai.
Datuk Saifuddin said the services include cybersecurity industry guidelines, cloud computing services guidelines, algorithma cryptography setia ada or AXA, cryptographic algorithm guidelines, the Cambuka 2.0 application and mobile assessment security scanning application, MASA. He said Kasih is a government effort to improve cybersecurity in dealing with cyber threats and attacks that are increasingly complex, dynamic and sophisticated. On another note, Datuk Saifuddin said his ministry will study the national cryptography policy that was approved by the Cabinet in 2013 to speed up its implementation process. The national cryptography policy is part of the National Cybersecurity Policy, or NCSP, which outlines methods and strategic approaches on the use of cryptography, including research and development aspects to protect government agency information. The spirit of patriotism is important among Malaysians in today's world of globalization and information technology boom to protect the country's sovereignty from any threats. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Religious Affairs, Dr. Zulkifli Muhammad Al-Bakri, said Islam had clearly outlined patriotism, especially in relation to the importance of defending the country's security and dignity, more so if a country is a Muslim country. Elaborating further, the minister said patriotism also demands the people to be obedient and loyal to leaders who are fair and religious abiding. Dr. Zulkifli said lately, Various ways were used by the enemies to weaken the spirit of patriotism among the Ummah, including by manipulating facts through social media. He said the colonization of the mind and dissemination of information under the new media had made the social space borderless. The minister added that if a certain matter related to patriotism is addressed without proper strategy and planning, it is feared that it will erode the spirit of patriotism of the people in the country. The daily tally of new COVID-19 cases in Malaysia surpassed the 21,000 mark today after recording 21,668 cases, the highest since the pandemic hit the country last year. Now, this is a slight spike from the previous daily record of 20,889 infections on 6th of August. And Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah said today's tally brought the country's cumulative total of positive cases to 1,342,215. And out of the new infections, 440 cases, or 2.1%, were under Category 3, 4 and 5, while 21,228 cases, or 97.9%, were Category 1 and 2. Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham also said overall, only 12.6%, or 2,720 cases out of today's infections have a history of completing the 2-dose vaccination. He said Selangor still has the highest number of cases at 6,278, followed by Kuala Lumpur, 2,436, and Kedah, 2,143. The country also recorded 318 more fatalities, and the death toll is now 11,691. Currently, there are 237,021 active cases nationwide. And of that total, 1,059 are under intensive care and 543 on ventilator support. Well, Sabah will receive the first batch of CanSino vaccine comprising 200,000 doses next week. And Chief Minister Dato Sri Panglima Haji Noor said he was informed of the matter by National COVID-19 Immunization Program Coordinating Minister Khairi Jamaluddin at a virtual meeting recently. Well, according to Dato Sri Panglima Haji, the doses are part of the 1.8 million CanSino vaccines requested by the state government from the federal government. The Chief Minister believes that with the supply, more individuals aged 18 and above will be vaccinated, thus enabling the state to achieve herd immunity by the end of this year.
Kita telah merayu dan meminta beliau supaya membekalkan juga single dose vaksin ke Sabah, iaitu jenis CanSino. Dan insyaAllah dalam masa terdekat ini kita akan mendapat bekalan pertama, iaitu sebanyak 200,000 dos CanSino yang akan dibekalkan di Sabah.
Sultan of Johor, Sultan Ibrahim Al-Marhum Sultan Iskandar, today reminded members of the Johor State Assembly to not raise irrelevant motions, but to use the State Assembly sitting to discuss and draw up action plans to help the people affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Sultan said all the 56 members of the Ogos House should not use the session to quarrel, but to give importance to the plight of the people, especially those who lost their job and fighting for their lives due to COVID-19.
Ingin juga saya ingatkan bahawa Dewan Negeri ini adalah tempat untuk berbincang dan membuat ketetapan bagi kepentingan rakyat dan negeri Johor. Jangan cemarkan Dewan saya ini dengan perangai yang buruk.
His Majesty also said he would not entertain any political gimmick by Assemblymen to an extent that it undermines the state and the government. The Sultan said if there is a situation that brings down the government, His Majesty will not hesitate to dissolve the Johor State Assembly. His Majesty noted that there is no need for elected representatives if they only think about their position and not the people's interests. Sultan Ibrahim said when the COVID-19 situation is under control, he would leave to the people to elect their new representatives. The State Assembly sitting was then adjourned to Sunday. On another note, the Johor State Assembly sitting later was adjourned until 22nd August to make way for COVID-19 risk assessment. Speaker Suhaizan Kayat said the adjournment was also to enable the State Assembly management to increase the level of safety for everyone involved against the spread of the coronavirus. At a press conference later, Menteri Besar Dato' Hasni Mohamad said the Speaker and the State Health Department were in the midst of fine-tuning the standard operating procedures or SOPs for the sitting. He said the one-week adjournment was necessary as there was a need to increase SOP compliance and safety, including by installing transparent dividers, fixing the suitable number of attendees in the hall, as well as the procedures before and during the sitting.
Kita akan membentuk satu bubble pergerakan bagi ahli-ahli Dewan. Mungkin mereka akan berada di satu lokasi yang lebih selamat daripada sebarang bentuk kemungkinan, iaitu berada dalam konteks rapat dengan mana-mana pihak.
Dato' Hasni also confirmed that all 56 assemblymen present today could continue attending the sitting as physical distancing was possible due to the large capacity of the hall, hence no need for a hybrid session. He said the fine-tuned SOP and the time for the sitting would be announced 2 or 3 days before it resumes. The sitting was initially scheduled to resume on 15th August. Coming up, Women Netpreneur program devised to increase e-commerce skills mastery. Well, the Entrepreneur Development and Cooperatives Ministry of MEDAC aims to help more women entrepreneurs to master e-commerce skills through the Women Netpreneur program organized by its agency, SME Corp Malaysia. And Deputy Minister Dato' Mas Ermiyati Samsudin said the program was timely to assist women entrepreneurs in their business digitalization journey.
Jadi salah satu inisiatif yang diterajui oleh MEDAC adalah untuk membimbing PKS ini ke arah adaptasi digital dalam operasi perniagaan mereka. Jadi kita amat bertuah kerana di bawah agensi yang terlibat ini iaitu SME Corp Malaysia telah pun mengambil inisiatif dalam melaksanakan pelbagai program yang dapat membantu PKS untuk adaptasi digital termasuklah penggalakan perniagaan secara dalam talian.
Bermula sebentar sahaja lagi.
The Women Netpreneur program is a collaboration between SME Corp Malaysia and Gorgeous Geeks. Explaining further, she said women entrepreneurs are significant contributors to the country's economy and they play a vital role, especially in the battle against the pandemic. As of July 2nd, 2,280 women entrepreneurs have taken part in the program and 80% of them have successfully participated in e-commerce platforms such as Facebook, Shopee and Lazada. Maybank and the National Bank of Cambodia, NBC, have unveiled a new real-time service which provides customers with affordable and convenient mobile fund transfer between Malaysia and Cambodia via NBC's Bakong e-wallet and Maybank's MAE app. In a joint statement, the banks said the customers would be able to transfer funds from Malaysia to Cambodia under the first phase, while transfers from Cambodia to Malaysia will be rolled out at a later date. Well, it added besides convenience, the service is also affordable as it only charges a minimal service fee. Maybank customers are able to transfer up to $2,500 or 10,000 ringgit equivalent daily via their mobile devices. NBC Governor Chia Chancho said the new service would enable both countries to reach another level of financial cooperation to benefit the people in both countries to remit funds in a secure and cost-efficient manner. Maybank Group President and CEO Dato Abdul Farid Alia said the launch also marks a new milestone for Maybank's digital journey, as it is the first overseas fund transfer feature on its MAE app. The police disposed of more than 2,000 case items following the completion of 78 investigation papers. Now, Brickfield's Deputy Police Chief Superintendent Basri Sagoni said it involved items from cases between 2017 and 2021, of which 670 case items were linked to online gambling, while others were linked to illegal Bitcoin mining operations.
Untuk makluman, jumlah barang kes yang dilupuskan hari ini yang telah diluluskan yaitu sebanyak 2,108 yang melibatkan 78 kereta siasatan yang terdiri daripada 670 barang kes perjudian, 160 barang kes di bawah Akta Kastam 1967. Kalau tuan-tuan tengok ada rokok dan arak tu. Dan juga 1,278 barang kes am yang disiasat di antara tahun 2017 sehingga tahun 2021.
He said the value of the items due to be disposed of is around 1.58 million ringgit. The approval to dispose of the items was given through court order dated 6 August under Section 407, subsection 2 of the Criminal Procedure Code Act 593. Superintendent Basri urged members of the public to share any information of illegal activities with the police. Well, we open up our sports segment with action from the local football scene. And Terengganu FC2 or TFC2 were held to a scoreless home draw by Perak FC2, but still managed to wrest the Premier League top spot from Negeri Sembilan FC or NSFC last night. Well, TFC2 had the chance to secure all 3 points at the Sultan Ismail Nasiruddin Shah Stadium in Kuala Terengganu, but striker Muhammad Izan Shahmi Mustafa failed to score from the penalty spot after his teammate Amirul Shazwan Nur Azmi was fouled by Rozia Daud in the 57th minute. Well, the draw sees TFC2 moving to the top of the standings with 29 points from 16 matches. NSFC, who have a game in hand, also have the same number of points but are on second goal on goal difference. In another Premier League match last night, Johor Darul Takzim 2 or JDT2 extended their unbeaten streak to 5 matches after drawing 2-2 with PDRM FC at the Kuala Lumpur Football Stadium in Cheras. Young striker Gabriel Nistarui Tamin netted the first goal of the game for JDT2 in the 30th minute, while 6th place PDRM FC got their goal through Nabil Ahmad in the 35th minute, followed by Bruno Suzuki in the 51st. Tamin then scored another goal in the 69th minute, thus maintaining JDT2 unbeaten run in the league. The draw sees JDT2 move to the 4th place with 26 points from 15 matches, while PDRM left in the 6th place with 22 points from 16 matches. And that concludes this evening's news at 10. Now, Tom, government mulling over making COVID-19 vaccination compulsory. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Muhammad Amin Carlos. Stay tuned to Saluran Berita RTM and have a pleasant evening.